Aunt Jennifer's Tigers by Adrienne, 1929 to 2012. American poet, essayist, and feminist. Explanation and rhetoric. Poem synopsis. The aunt in the poem is embroidering a motif comprising of energetic, fearless tigers moving freely around the bright greenery. She is living a life of submissiveness to her husband's command. Her acts are dominated by him and she fears him constantly. This pattern of the fear and fearless tigers reflect her inner desire to live a free and fearless life. The tigers are graceful, elegant, and bright. She is old, still fears her husband. She does not enjoy the freedom to do anything as per her wish. The wedding band on her hand is a constant reminder that she belongs to her husband. The burden of the demanding marriage has exhausted her. The torment will not end until her death. Even after her death, the mark of the band will remain on her hand and she will never be free. On the other hand, the tigers that she is embroidering will continue to move around freely forever. Her desire of freedom and fearlessness will live on through her tigers. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. Explanation. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. In these lines, the poetess calls the Lady Jennifer as aunt. This might suggest that the poetess has a relation with her and knew her closely. That is why she is able to speak about the inner feelings of the lady. Or it might be the feminist poetess's experience of domestic violence. Aunt Jennifer is said to embroider patterns of ferocious, fearless tigers on a piece of cloth that would be framed and put up as a wall decoration piece. These lines are a precise description of the tigers. The tigers are in motion. Their act of prancing is shown in the design. Their pale blue eyes burn in the darkness of the forest. There are men or hunters beneath the trees on whose branches they stride. The tigers move confidently and courageously on the trees. Figures of speech. Personification. Aunt Jennifer's tigers. Here, the tigers are patterns on a cloth and therefore inanimate. They are said to prance, pace, and do not fear men. Metaphor. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green. The eyes of the tigers are compared to the stone topaz burning with a pale blue light, and forests are said to be world of green. Alliteration. Sleek, chivalric certainty. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Aunt Jennifer seems to be physically and mentally fatigued and also aged, as she is called aunt. Her fingers tremble either due to old age and exhaustion or due to fear of her husband or her emotion. She might be emotionally swayed while making those tigers, which are a reflection of her inner desires. She might have wanted to be free and brave, confident and lively. However, marriage with Uncle must have ruined all her dreams and desires. She has been constantly reproached and tortured by her husband, who seems to be rich and proud. Rich because Aunt uses an ivory needle to embroider and she wears a huge wedding band on her wrist. Aunt finds the needle hard to pull, just as she finds it hard to pull through her relationship with uncle. The wedding band is like handcuffs on a prisoner. Figures of speech, alliteration, fingers fluttering, hyperbole, massive weight of uncle's wedding band, and exaggeration. A wedding band can't be too heavy. Metaphor, massive weight. The band has no other value than its weight. Compared to something heavy, the burden of the relationship. Imagery, sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Image of something heavy sitting on her hand, or a burden on her soul. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeal she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. Since Aunt is old and exhausted, her death is imminent. Even after her death, Aunt Jennifer's hands will lie, marked with the signs of torture she went through. Her husband was nothing more than a master, ill-treating his servant, the aunt. However, her handiwork, the tigers on the panel, will still go prancing proudly and fearlessly, and Aunt's indomitable spirit will live on through them. Figures of speech, transferred epithet, terrified hands. The person is terrified. The terror of the person is transferred to her hands here. Imagery, ringed with ordeals, image of torture. Alliteration, prancing, proud. Personification, the tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. Adrienne Cecil Rich was an American poet, essayist, and feminist. She was called one of the most widely read and influential poets of the second half of the 20th century, and was credited with bringing the oppression of women and lesbians to the forefront of poetic discourse.